within the Catena-X ecosystem that companies are starting to request product carbon footprints from their suppliers. And it's not the first time that someone is asking a supplier for a PCF or a carbon footprint data set. It has been happening also in the past. And typically, companies have received then from their suppliers an EPD, an environmental product declaration. So because if you think of steel, steel is used in cars, but steel is also used a lot in the construction industry. And a company who is a steel maker makes then, even if it's maybe not the same steel, but they are making their product carbon footprints and their environmental product declarations based on certain standards. And then they're saying, this is what we have, and we can send you that. And not typically saying, we have a data set that is aligned with Catena-X and that's aligned with ISO 14044 or with the EPD standards for the construction industry. And so what we get often the question is, can we use the data for calculating our product carbon footprint and are still aligned with the Catena-X rulebook? And now it would be cool if the answer would be yes or no. Unfortunately, it depends and you have to dig deeper. My initial answer would have been even more to the no, because the general understanding of an environmental product declaration is it has a different system boundary. It is very often not only cradle to gate, it's maybe even cradle to grave. But maybe it can be cradle to gate. And then the knowledge is, but there are differences in the construction industry with other industries, especially on how you account for recycled materials. That's an example. And so you really have to dig deep and understand what is the product category rule being used behind that environmental product declaration to be able to answer the question if these results in the EPD you can use in your product carbon footprint for Catena-X. And so the answer is really you have to look at which is the product category rule behind the EPD. And especially if it's about recycled material, you have to check what part of the production of the recycled material is included or not. Let's make an example. In some cases, the sorting is included. So it starts really with the waste. And so you have to account for the sorting before you can make your recycled material. If that is the case, this is exactly what is also written within the Catena-X rulebook, that you have to start from the moment where the waste becomes something more valuable. The input material is the waste, and the sorting is the first step of the production of the recycled material. In other PCRs, product category rules, you have the situation that you are starting also required from the standard after the sorting. So the sorting belongs to the first life cycle. And in this case, you have directly a divergence, and it makes a difference in results in product carbon footprints, and it's not neglectable, the difference that it makes. And so unfortunately, the answer is it depends. So in many cases, or in some cases, you can use it. So it's not a category of no, you never can use an EPD result. You have to check how it has been calculated, and then you can find the data in EPDs and make them useful for also your product carbon footprint within Catena-X.